Hello student, good morning. I am Dr. Ajay Kumar Sinha, Professor of Chemistry. Today I am going to discuss very important points of atomic structure. Actually I am reviewing atomic structure. Already I have discussed in details before solving numericals and solving questions asked in IIT and medical examination. I want to discuss some important information or points of this chapter. So some points you should know that I am going to discuss. First point, the rest mass of the electron is 9.1095 into 10 to the power minus 31 kg. On the atomic scale, the rest mass of the electron is equal to 0.005486 AMU. This you should know. The rest mass of the electron is equal to 0.000548 AMU. However, when it is moving with velocity v, its mass is given by m is equal to m in rest divided by under root 1 upon v upon c whole square. When it is moving, electron is moving with velocity v, its mass is given by mass in rest divided by under root 1 minus v upon c square, where c is a velocity of light. Thus, when the electron is moving with velocity of light, that time v is equal to c, and its mass is infinite. Mass will be infinite when v is equal to c. Means when the electron is moving with velocity of light, its mass is infinite, because in formula if you will write mass is equal to mass in rest divided by under root 1 upon v upon c square, and when v is equal to c, then it will be 1 square. v and c will be cancelled because both are equal. Then 1 square, then 1 minus 1 is 0, correct, under root 0, and upside is m rest. Then m rest and means mass in rest divided by 0 means what? Infinite. This is the important point, correct. Rest mass of electron is well known. Rest mass of the electron is well known, that is 9.1095 into 10 to the power minus 31 kg, correct. This is well known. But what I discussed, mass when it is moving with velocity v, that time its mass will be infinite. Mass is infinite. Second important point, the change on the electron, not change, charge. The charge on the electron was determined by Millikan by Weyl drop experiment. The ratio of charge by mass, that is E upon m, was determined by Thomson using mass spectrometer. This is very important point. The charge on the electron was determined by Millikan. Okay. Millikan, you can tell Milikan. Millikan. By Weil drop experiment. The ratio of charge upon mass, that is E upon m, was determined by Thomson using a spectrometer. And next important point, mass of 1 mole of electron is equal to 0.55 milligram. Mass of 1 mole of electron is equal to 0.55 milligram. Charge on 1 mole of electron, that is the 96,500 coulomb, that is equal to 1 Faraday. This is again important point. Charge on 1 mole of electron is equal to 96,500 coulombs, and that is equal to 1 Faraday. Next important point, the volume of the nucleus is of the order of 10 to the power minus 39 cubic centimeter. 10 to the power minus 39 cubic centimeter, and that of atom is about 10 to the power minus 24 cubic centimeter. Thus, volume of nucleus is about 10 to the power minus 15 of that of the atom. 3 points I discussed now here, all are important. The volume of the nucleus is of the order of 10 to the power minus 39 cubic centimeter, and that of the atom is bigger. Then it is about 10 to the power minus 24 cubic centimeter. Correct? Thus the volume of the nucleus is about, if you compare both volume of nucleus and volume of atom, if you compare, then you will find volume of nucleus is about 10 to the power minus 15 of that of atom in comparison to atom. Volume of nucleus is about 10 to the power minus 15. 10 to the power minus 15 of that of atom. Okay. Next important point, the density of the nucleus. The density of the nucleus is about 10 to the power 14 gram per cubic centimeter. The density of the nucleus is about 10 to the power 14 gram per cubic centimeter, or 10 to the power 17 kg per cubic meter, or 10 to the power 8 tons per cubic centimeter, which is about 10 to the power 12 times that of lead. This question is asked. All relation what I told you. Density of the nucleus is about 10 to the power 14 gram per cubic centimeter, or in kg 10 to the power 17 kg per cubic meter, or 10 to the power 8 tons per cubic centimeter, which is about 10 to the power 12 times that of lead. Next important point, the radii of the nuclei are usually expressed in terms of Fermis. One Fermi is equal to 10 to the power minus 13 centimeter, or 10 to the power minus 15 meter. This is again important point. Question is asked. The radii of the nuclei, volume I discussed, density I discussed, now radius. The radii of the nuclei are usually expressed in terms of Fermi. One Fermi is the name of scientist. One Fermi is equal to 10 to the power minus 13 centimeter, and that is equal to 10 to the power minus 15 meter. The nuclear radii lie in the range of 1.5 to 6.5 Fermi. The nuclear radii lies in range of 1.5 to 6.5 Fermi. Next question. Not next question, next point. The concept of atomic number. The concept of atomic number was put forward by Moseley in 1913. Again, it is important question also you can tell. This is asked. The concept of atomic number was put forward by Moseley in 1913. He found that when cathode rays hit the anticathode, the wavelength of X-rays emitted is characteristics of the element bombarded. Again, I am repeating. Moseley found that when cathode rays hit the anticathode, the wavelength of the X-rays emitted, correct? When cathode rays hit the anticathode, then X-rays is emitted. This is an important point. And the wavelength of the X-rays emitted is characteristic of the element bombarded. Next point. When monochromatic X-rays are allowed to fall on some light element, that is the X-rays interact with the electron. The scattered X-rays have longer wavelength or less frequency or less energy than the incident rays. This effect is called Compton effect. Question is also asked. Again I am repeating. When monochromatic X-rays are allowed to fall on some light element, that is X-rays interact with the electrons, the scattered X-rays have a longer wavelength or less frequency or less energy than the incident rays. This effect is called Compton effect. Next point. The Bohr model was extended by Sommerfeld, Sommerfeld. Bohr's model was extended by Sommerfeld by suggesting elliptical orbitals in place of circular orbits. We know, generally a student will know that orbit is circular, but according to Sommerfeld, it is elliptical. Bohr's model was extended by Sommerfeld by suggesting elliptical orbits in place of circular orbits. This helped to explain the fine lines of the spectrum. Next point. The intensity of the spectral lines in a particular series decreases as the value of n of the outer cell increases. that is the Lyman series. Example, in a Lyman series, first line, that is called first line, involving jump n is equal to 2 to n is equal to 1, has greater intensity than the second line, involving the jump n is equal to 3 to n is equal to 1, and so on. Again I am repeating, the intensities of spectral lines in a particular series decreases as the value of n of the outer cell increases. That is, in Lyman series, that is the first series, first line, involving jump n is equal to 2 to n is equal to 1, has greater intensity than the second line, involving jump n is equal to 3 to n is equal to 1, and so on. Next important point, in the Rydberg formula, when n2 is equal to infinity, means a higher energy level or higher energy, higher in, you can say orbit, higher in orbit, higher orbit. In the Rydberg formula, when n is equal to infinity, means you can say highest energy level, or you can say orbit, large means that is the last orbit also you can tell, correct? High energy level or high orbit, high number of orbit. If it is more, that is infinity, then that time the line produced is called the limiting line of that series. Okay. When n is equal to high energy level, okay, that time Rydberg formula will be called limiting line of that series. In the Rydberg formula, when n2 is equal to infinity, higher energy level, the line produced is called the limiting line of the series. Next point, Balmer series contains 4 important lines whose wavelengths are: first 6563 angstrom, second 4862 angstrom, increasing, third 4341 angstrom, decreased, and again 4102 angstrom. You should remember, in Balmer series contains 4 important lines whose wavelengths are: first 6563 angstrom, second 6862 angstrom, and third 4341 angstrom, and last 4102 angstrom. These are respectively called H alpha, H beta, H gamma, H delta lines. Okay. All 4 lines are called H alpha, H beta, H gamma, and H delta lines. Question is asked. Next important point, the discoveries of different quantum numbers, as for example principal quantum number by Bohr has discovered, azimuthal quantum number by Sommerfeld can say discovered azimuthal quantum number, magnetic by Lande, Lande discovered magnetic quantum number. And what about a spin? Then a spin by Alan Bake and Gaudsmith, 2 scientists. Okay, a spin quantum number is discovered by Alan Beck, and Goudsmith. Not as a Analec, you actually use a UH. Uhlenbeck, not N-U-H. U-H-L-E-N. Uhlenbeck, B-E-C-K. And second scientist, Goudsmith. This question is also asked. Next point I am discussing. The opposite lobes of P orbitals having different signs, that is a positive and other is negative. The opposite lobes of P orbitals have different signs. One is positive, other is negative. But opposite lobes of D orbitals have the same sign. Means two lobes have positive while the other two have negative. This is also an important point. The signs in the lobes represent the sign of the wave function in different direction. The signs in the lobes represent the sign of the wave function in different direction. S orbital have only positive sign. You remember, S orbitals have only positive sign. Now I am going to discuss some very important questions, terms, which in this type of or you can say these terms are asked in examination, competitive examination. That is, for any examination can be asked, particularly in engineering and medical examination. These questions may be asked, these points may be asked, these terms may be asked. First term, the radius r of the nucleus of an atom is related to its mass number. How? The radius r of nucleus of an atom is related to its number, mass number A, according to the equation. What is that equation? This is very important relation. That is R is equal to R capital R0, A means mass number, power 1/3, where R0 is a constant and its value is 1.4 into 10 to the power minus 15 meter. Again I am repeating the relation. R small r radius is equal to capital R0, A means mass number, power 1/3. Correct? Where R0 is a constant and its value is equal to 1.4 into 10 to the power minus 15 meter. Next important point, number of subcells in the nth cell is equal to n, means same. Number of subcells in the nth cell is equal to n. N means the number of orbitals. Number of orbitals in a subcell, is equal to 2l plus 1. Maximum number of electrons in a subcell is equal to 2 into in bracket 2l plus 1. 2 into in bracket 2l plus 1. This is the maximum number of electrons in a subcell. And number of orbitals in the nth cell is equal to n square. N square, orbit number n square. Maximum number of electrons in the nth cell is equal to 2n square. All these points are very important. Always question is asked. Okay, always this type of question is asked, and these are very, very useful in solving the numericals in exam hall. Again, I am telling number of subcells. Number of subcells in the nth cell is equal to n. Number of orbitals in a subcell is equal to 2l plus 1. Maximum number of electrons in a subcell, just you multiply this by 2 because in one orbital maximum 2 electron is possible. In one orbital how many electrons are possible? There are only 2. Only 2 electrons can accommodate in one orbital. Hence, the maximum number of electrons in a subcell is equal to 2 into number of orbitals in a subcell. Means 2 into in bracket 2l plus 1. That is the number of orbitals multiplied by 2. That is the maximum number of electrons in a subcell. And number of orbitals in the nth cell, number of orbitals, actually number of subcell in the nth cell is equal to n only, same. But orbitals, number of orbitals in the nth cell, that is a n square. And maximum number of electrons in the cell, how much? Then it will be 2n square, because in one orbital 2 electron is possible. Hence, maximum number of electrons in the nth cell is equal to 2n square, because number of orbitals is equal to n square. Then electron will just to multiply by 2, then maximum number of electrons in the nth cell is equal to 2n square. Next important point. Principal quantum number tells about the size of the orbital. Principal quantum number tells about the size of the orbital. A small size, big size, like that. Azimuthal quantum number tells about the shape of the orbital. Shape of the orbital. Magnetic quantum number tells about the orientation of the orbital. Orientation of the orbital, at what angle they are. Okay, orientation in space. Quantum number tells about the orientation of the orbital, whereas a spin quantum number tells about the direction of a spin of the electron. Means movement of the electron moves, then which direction it is moving, either clockwise or anti-clockwise. Then a spin quantum number tells about the direction of a spin of the electron. This question is also asked. This meaning of principal quantum numbers. Now next, very important question, and this question is fit for the advanced level question. Okay, IIT advanced. Shapes of the 7 f orbitals. F orbitals, it is of 7 type, 2 into 7, 14 electrons. Then what are their shapes? The shapes of the 7 f orbitals are complicated, but their designations are, I am telling you. How? Just like 5d orbitals you are telling, dxy, dyz, dzx, dx square minus y square, dz square. Like that way, 7 f orbitals are there. What are their designation? Now I am telling you. You can also remember it by some technique is there to remember these 7 f orbitals. Then here 3 orbital, you can f orbital is represented by f only. Then first 3 you can remember easily. F3 you write F3, for upside you can write 3, f power 3, like that way. F3 you write, it is not power. F3, then F3x, F3y, F3z. 3 easily you can remember. out of 7. Now again 4, how will you remember? Then now I am telling you 3 more. First I will tell, then last one I will tell. Then now fourth one, fx, then only it is not fx. With fx, now this x, y, z you know. Then now higher minus lower square you have to do. What you have written, f3x, f3y, f3z, that f3 in f3x, in that another extra point is added. That is a fx. After that extra, what is extra? Then higher minus lower is a square. Order you can write last orbit and then before that orbit, like that way. Means z square minus y square. First z, then y. First z, or you can say last is the z. Then before z, what is that? Y. There you can write z square minus y square. Correct? Last and just before, do minus z square minus y square. Then fourth one became fx in bracket z square minus y square. Now fifth one, then second one was f3y. Then again you can write here 3 don't write, only y write, fy. Okay. Fourth one here also f3 don't write, fx, fy, fz, like that you have to write. Now again just fy is there. Then what is remaining? Fy is there, the remaining is z and x. Only out of 3, fx, fy you are now using. Fx when you have used, then 2 things was remaining, z and y. Then first you write z and then you write y. Then z square minus y square. That was the fourth one. Fifth one, same way, fy, then z square minus x square. Z square minus x square. Only 2 terms are remaining. Then you have to write last term first and then before that. And fz, sixth one, then z you are using, then y and x is remaining. Then from y you have to do, y first you write, then x you write, means y square minus x square. What is left out in that, which is then the last, that you write first, y square minus x square. Okay, you can't write x square minus y square. Z, f, z, then y square first you write and then minus x square. Correct? This order you have to follow. Then easily you can remember. And seventh one is very easy. F, x, y, z. F, x, y, z. Then this way all 7 F orbitals can be remembered. These are the designation of 7 F orbitals. This is also very, very important for, particularly for IIT Advanced. Next, similar to the relation of orbital angular momentum, you know, there are 2 types of angular momentum. First is orbital angular momentum. Second, azimuthal quantum, spin angular momentum. You remember these terms, how orbital angular momentum is related to the spin angular momentum. Both are angular momentum, 2 angular momentum. Then first is orbital angular momentum, and second is a spin angular momentum. You remember these 2 angular momentum. First is related to orbital, one angular momentum is there, that is called orbital angular momentum, and second a spin angular momentum. Then both are related. How? Now I am telling you. Similar to the relation of orbital angular momentum with azimuthal quantum number L. Orbital angular momentum is related with L, that is azimuthal quantum number. Like that way, a spin angular quantum moment, a spin angular momentum, this is related to electron, that was related to orbital, but a spin angular momentum is related to electron. Then the spin angular momentum will be, or that is equal to, a spin angular momentum is equal to under root s in bracket s plus 1 outside h upon 2 pi. H upon 2 pi. Correct? This is similar to orbital angular momentum. Then a spin angular momentum of electron is equal to under root s, means a spin quantum number, in bracket s plus 1 and outside h upon 2 pi. Then s value is, it is a half. Then now you put the value of half. In the place of s, you write half. Then what you will get? Half outside in bracket half plus 1 outside h upon 2 pi. Then on solving, you will get under root 3 divided by 2. Under root 3 divided by 2 outside h upon 2 pi, as s is equal to half. Okay. And h upon 2 pi you can write as a h bar. H upon 2 pi is also written as h bar. Then you can write a spin angular momentum of electron is equal to root 3 divided by 2 h bar. H and one small line upside above h bar. Correct? And for n unpaired electrons, for n small n unpaired electrons, for n unpaired electrons, replace s by total spin value. Okay. For n may be 2, 3, 4, 5, 1 also. For n unpaired electrons, replace a small s. What I discussed, that was a small s, a spin quantum number. And now that you have to replace a small s by total spin for n unpaired electron. Then now capital S you can write. For n unpaired electron, you write capital S. What you have written? Half, that is for electron, one electron. That's why a small s you have written. Now for n unpaired electrons, that is rhyme, s will become capital S. That is equal to n by 2. A small n divided by 2. A spin quantum number. Total spin value will be n upon 2. And it is represented by S, capital S. Then for n unpaired electrons, total spin value S, capital S is equal to n upon 2. A small n upon 2. Again, all these are very, very important for your competitive examination. Okay. Next, when a molecule containing all paired electrons absorbs energy, when a molecule containing all paired electrons absorb energy, the following change may occur. The first stage is so fast that there is not enough time for a spin orientation to change. Very, very important point. When a molecule containing all paired electrons absorb energy, then what will happen? The following change may occur. The first stage is so fast that there is not enough time for a spin orientation to change. Because this stage, first stage, is very fast. Hence there is not enough time for a spin orientation to change. This is very, very important point. And now three concept comes from this. First is the ground state, second excited singlet state, and third excited triplet state. Always question is asked. Okay. Then now what are these three states that is related to change of a spin? You remember? Then what is the ground state? Then ground state, always actually here will be pair of electron. In all three states, two electron will be involved, pair of electron. Then what is their position? Importance is given to that direction position, upward and downward. Okay, that matters here. Then ground state means pair of electrons will be with opposite sign. One will be up direction, other electron will be down direction. Then pair of electrons with opposite sign in one orbital. In one orbital, I told you maximum 2 electron remains. Then 2 electrons, what will be the direction? One will be upside, other will be downside direction. Opposite sign in one orbital. Now second, this is what I told you, ground state. Now after absorbing the photon, when it will absorb the photon, means energy, light energy, h nu, then now change will be there. But because this is a very fast step, change, this first state is very fast, and there will be, I told you, because there is not enough time to spin orientation to change. But what will happen, I am telling you. After absorbing photon, ground state, in ground state, suppose this pair of electrons absorb the energy, photon, then after that change will take place. Means now it will be excited singlet state. What will happen? That now, because it is excited, this is called actually pair of electrons with opposite spins. Here a spin will be opposite, but now energy level change will be there. Both will be not having the same energy, different energy. Correct? Then what you have seen in ground state, that second electron will go up. Direction will be the same. You remember, direction will be the same, opposite direction, but only energy level will go up. One electron will go up. Then just like now situation will be just like two arrows coming to each other. Correct? Two arrows coming to each other. That situation. That you can see, one will be above, other will be down. Both are coming close like that situation. Energy level difference will be there in the gap, in the between the two gap will be there. Just like arrow, you have seen that the two arrows are colliding or collision, that type of situation. But it is in one will be up, other will be down. Then this is called excited singlet state. Correct? Only energy difference will be there. Then this is the pair of electrons with opposite spins, but each in different orbitals. Again, here important point. Both electron will be in different orbitals, not in the same. Means they will go from one, after absorbing energy, they will go to the other orbital. Okay? They will go to the other orbital, but direction will be opposite. One is up, other will be down. Okay? Just like I told you, coming to the same situation, say colliding condition like that, but in other orbital. One orbital which is up, that will be in one orbital. Second orbital which is coming, that will be in another orbital, different orbital. Okay? Then this is called excited singlet state. Generally what you are using, excited state, only this position. If suppose both electrons were in the same orbit, then now after the excitation, one electron will go to the other orbital. Correct? But direction will be opposite. Then when this opposite direction is there, that time it is called excited singlet state. Okay. And third state, that is excited triplet state. What is that? Suppose this second state, excited singlet state I told you, and after change of spin orientation, if suppose a spin orientation is there, after change of spin orientation, what will happen? Then both will be in the same direction. Both will be in the same direction. When both are in the same direction, then that is called excited triplet state. Remember, in the same orbital, if two electrons are there in opposite direction, that is called ground state. If two electrons are in opposite direction but in different orbitals, one in other electron in different orbitals, then that is called singlet state, excited singlet state. And third state, if both are in the same direction, then that is called excited triplet state. Means pair of electrons with parallel, that is also called parallel spins in different orbitals. Correct? In different orbitals. Hund's rule, here what you are following, say like that way. Means one electron will go in all. Correct? Pauli exclusion principle and Hund rules. That times, that situation, now you understand. Okay. First one electron will fill in one same direction, like that type of situation. Then this is actually this excited triplet state means pair of electrons with parallel spins in different orbitals. These states are expressed in terms of quantity called spin multiplicity, which is equal to 2s plus 1, capital S, 2s plus 1. This is called a spin multiplicity. These three states, ground state, excited singlet state, excited triplet state, these states are expressed in terms of quantity called a spin multiplicity, which is equal to 2s plus 1, where S is the capital S is the total electron spin. In first case, S is equal to 0. In first case, S is equal to 0. So that in this formula 2s plus 1, you want to know the spin multiplicity, what will be the value? Then in first case, S is equal to 0. Then 2 into 0 plus 1, that is the only these things. Only 1 will remain, 2s plus 1. S is equal to 0. Then 2 into 0, that is the 0 plus 1. Plus 1, then only 1 will remain. Hence in first case, the spin multiplicity is equal to 1. It is called singlet ground state. 1. S value, now a spin multiplicity value is equal to 1 by putting S is equal to 0. In first case, ground state, you remember this is the condition. S is equal to 0. S, total spin. This S is the total electron spin. That is the 0. Because both are cancelling opposite. Because both are in opposite, both are cancelling. That's why 0. Then now 1 is remaining. That's why this S is equal to 0, I told you in this case, then spin multiplicity value will be 1. It is called singlet ground state. In excited state, what will happen? One is plus half, other is minus half. Both are in different orbitals. In one orbital plus half, other minus half. Correct? Here it is not cancelling both because both are in different orbitals. But in first one, both were in the same orbital. That's why cancelled out. Then here s is equal to plus half minus half. Then what will be finally? 0. Finally, plus half minus half is equal to 0. So that in this case also spin multiplicity will be 1. 2s plus 1. Here also s is equal to 0 because plus half minus half. Like first case, both were opposite, it became 0. Here also similar case. Here also plus half minus half is equal to 0. Then here spin multiplicity is equal to 1. And it is called singlet excited state. This is the second case. Okay. This is the second case. And now these two state I told you, in both case singlet state. In third condition, C, A means first, second I told you, now third I am telling you. S is equal to when both are in parallel state, excited triplet state. Correct? There both are in the same direction. Then here both will add. Total spin will be plus half because both electrons are in the same direction. Plus half. Then s is equal to 1 plus half 1. Then now 2s plus 1. There you s is equal to 1. Then now we will get 2 into 1 plus 1. That is the 3. Then it is called triplet excited state. Correct? Then ground state you have seen. Ground state when s is equal to 0, that time it was singlet ground state. Okay. In second excited state, excited singlet state was there. Excited singlet state, in that case also it is called singlet excited state. Singlet ground state, first case singlet ground state, second singlet excited state, and third when s is equal to 1, 2 into 1 plus 1, that is 3, then it is called triplet excited state. Then singlet ground state, singlet excited state, and triplet excited state. Now another point, important point I am going to discuss. The reason why 4s orbital has a lesser energy than 3d orbital. Always you have seen in configuration, first electron will first fill 4s, then it will go to the 3d. Why does it happen? Now I am giving explanation. This question is also asked. The reason why 4s orbital has a lesser energy than 3d orbital is that 4s orbital has 3 small peaks. This is an important point. 4s orbital has 3 small peaks closer to the nucleus, in addition to the fourth high peak. Fourth high peak is also present. 3 are small peaks closer to the nucleus, in addition to the fourth high peak. Thus 4s orbital is more penetrating. It can penetrate, go inside. Thus 4s orbital is more penetrating than 3d. 3d can't penetrate, but this can penetrate. 4s orbital can penetrate. 4s orbital is more penetrating than 3d. That is the held tightly. 3d is held tightly, had more tightly to the nucleus, and hence has lower energy. Correct? fourth, I told you 3 is a small peak in 4s. 3 small peaks closer to the nucleus. Then automatically they will be very close. Nucleus is positively charged. Then they are close. It will attract fast. And fourth is high. Fourth peak is high. That's why it is closer, very close to the nucleus. Thus 4s orbital is more penetrating than 3d. 3d is far. That is the held 4s orbitals held more tightly to the nucleus and hence has a lower energy. Correct? Because it is close. Just like s orbital, no? That is energy is less. It is close but energy is less in comparison to the bigger orbit, last orbit or before that. After the nucleus, first or second, third, fourth, fifth as will go, their energy will increase, orbit energy will increase. Now, one more point I want to discuss today. As the energy of electron in the nth cell is En is equal to minus 1312 upon n square kilojoule per mole. What will happen? Here its sign is minus, remember, minus 1312 divided by n square, number of orbit, that is a kilojoule per mole. As n increases, number of orbit increases, as n increases, that is we move towards outer cell. Correct? As n increases, that is we move toward the outer cells, the energy increases because minus value will be less. When minus value will be less, it will be increasing. You are moving towards positive. The energy increases, but difference between the two successive cells. Here important point, the difference between two successive cells decreases, means E2 minus E1. E2 minus E1 is greater than E3 minus E2. And E3 minus E2 is greater than E4 minus E3, and so on. Difference between the successive cells decreases. Successive cells decreases. Means E2 minus E1, that is greater. Second orbit minus first orbit difference is more than third minus second. Third minus second. And this is again greater than fourth minus third, and so on. Then now today I am stopping only here. Next class again I will meet with, you can say, some multiple choice questions are there. All are very, very important. And then term wise I will discuss. Thank you.